tuning in today to my awesome series called InnerViews. I love getting to know people and their backstory, what drives them. There's so many extraordinary people that you don't even know about that are doing amazing things. And I pray that when you get to hear these people, you're inspired in some type of a way. And so today I'm honored to have with me my sister friend, Cris Meadows, who is the CEO and founder of Harvest Girls International, based in Indianapolis. And what I want to share with you is that over 35 years, I've been invited to speak many places, and it's rare when you stay connected to the host of an event where you were speaking. And Cris Meadows and I have been joined at the hip. We have so much in common. We have a very similar drive and passion to empower others. Specifically, she loves empowering the young ladies as I love empowering women. So welcome, Cris. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Jewel. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Even though we are miles apart, I feel that we're just closer as we've ever been. And so I'm excited to be on this today. This is so amazing for me.
Oh, it is. And I just thank technology. We're growing, aren't we, Cris? We're learning how
Yes,
to
we
pivot
are.
in
Yes.
the pandemic.
Yes, we are growing.
Yeah, I remember there was a time I couldn't get you to do a video. Now I see your videos
Absolutely.
all over the place.
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you say that because now, matter of fact, I did my first videos with you, a little shy in doing them. And I just kept pressing forward doing them. And now I love them. I absolutely love the feel of them. I love the way that it empowers through the screen. I love the way that we can connect with women all over the world and we don't have to travel as much. I mean, even though this has not been maybe the best of times, but we have created it to be the best of times. So I'm just excited that we're able to do this. And only thing, Jewel, I just wanted to be there in California with you. That's the only thing. Indiana is cold right now. And
Yeah,
so
girl, I'm not even going to tell you how beautiful it is looking out the
no,
window.
don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Summer day.
Yes. Yes.
And we so enjoyed you when you came to the Malibu retreat for Women on the Go. The women loved you. This lady right here is an amazing speaker. She spoke at my 30th anniversary of my ministry. She spoke at our women's retreat, and she's just so much fun to be with, so transparent, such a leader. And Cris, before I get into my questions to kind of get into your inner self, please tell my audience, what is your mission with Harvest Girls International?
Jewel, my mission is very simple. We are just dedicated to authentic abilities to grow yourself. Everything that you need is on the inside of you. Everything that has happened to you is not who you are. You are not your circumstance or situation. And so our job and mission is to have you to shift your mindset and to shift your soul set into resetting yourself to be the person that God has called you to be. And that person lies within all of us. And we each have a mission and a purpose. We just sometimes need someone to help us to find it. And what I really want to tell the women is everything that has happened to you, what you have done, what you've been through, everything can be used. And I know I'm standing not in my story, but on my story as the victor. I know what has happened to me, but that is what has caused me to be who I am today. And so when we don't have pity parties very long, I mean, I have had them and still do sometimes, but I give myself time. I say, you got 5 minutes. You cry for 5 minutes, shake this off and get back in there. And those are the self-talks that we teach to get you back moving, and then even maybe recommending medical treatment or anything that you may need, because sometimes we need to tell our girlfriends, you may need to see somebody to support you in getting through and to push through what you're going through. And so that's the mission. I know it's long, but that is our mission, just loving women through their pain and turning their pain into passion, passion into purpose, their fear into faith, and their crying into courage. And that's what we do.
I love it. And so you just gave an example of what a mindset is, that, when you are going through something, okay, I'm gonna allow myself to feel it, and then I'm gonna shake it off. That's a decision. That's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
And as you know, some people are set in being a victim. Their feet are in the cement. I'm a
Yes.
victim. I can't help it.
Yes.
I'm powerless. Nobody loves me. That's a
Yes.
mindset.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that, because that is one example. And people think, well, how can you do that? It's through habit, and it's through
Mm-hmm.
making a decision that I'm going to get through this. And it's
Yes.
not about being in denial. Yeah, this is
Yes.
messy. This is painful. I don't like it, but I'm going to allow myself to feel it and move through it. Because what happens is, you know, Cris, when we push down our feelings, they're going to come back up later, and usually comes up back up pretty toxic and pretty
Yes.
messy.
Very toxic.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So what are some of the programs that you offer to facilitate this, Cris?
Well, we have several programs. First, we start with our young girls, ages 9 through 17, and we teach them the power to dream. We have a program that's been going on for 13 years. It's the All Girls Matter Self-Esteem Academy for Harvest Girls International. And right now, it's an online academy, Jewel. We're doing everything virtual. So we're able to reach girls in all kind of countries, states, continents, all over. Our program is free for the young girls, and we teach them self-esteem through many ways. We have career building, we have friendship, how to be a friend. We teach them gratitude. We teach them how to choose their career. And maybe if that career is not exactly what you thought and you see something else you want to do, that you don't have to stay stuck, you can shift. We teach them that all at 9 through 17. And then for the women, we teach the women, and I love to teach the women because we teach them the same thing: self-esteem, self-love. My biggest thing with women is self-love. My campaign for women is love yourself first. You're only able or capable of loving someone to the degree that you love yourself. And so many times we think as women, because we're doing so much and giving so much, we're showing love. You know, I'm working and I'm bringing home the money and paying the bills and taking care of the kids, and I'm cooking. I'm showing everybody that I love them. But here's the thing: you're doing your responsibilities, or you're doing decisions that you've made to do. But if you never decided to love yourself, and loving yourself sometimes is saying no. I can't do that. No, I need to do this. No, I feel bad if I don't tell them that. You should not. That is part of loving yourself. You become, as you said, Jewel, very toxic in many areas of your life when you don't live the authentic life, when you don't allow that stuff to be authentic and bubble up. I'm just learning in the last 10 years to say, no, that doesn't work for me. And I used to think I could save the world. Oh, now I'm better. I can save everybody. And until you save yourself daily, you have to save yourself daily, love yourself daily. Until you leave this earth, every day you have to choose to love yourself first. And it is a choice. It is a choice.
It is a choice. And you know, you're blessed. Your mother is still living. My mother has
Yes.
gone on to glory, but our mothers didn't hear words like authentic
No. Mm-mm.
and self-love. And I'm known as the self-esteem doctor. My mother probably said, what the heck is a self-esteem doctor? You know, my mother, she went on one retreat before she passed on. And there was something about her. There was a glow about her that I saw a little girl that I never saw before. Because as you said, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers weren't able to pass the baton to us to show us what self-love and self-esteem looks like. And I get
Yes.
the question all the time, Jewel, what do you mean love myself? They don't even know what it looks like. They don't
Yes.
know the steps that we can take. So I'm so glad that that is what you're doing. And I know that you're getting some great response, some great breakthroughs. And I know the women there are loving you, and we can't wait to have you come back to California.
I can't wait to come
And
back.
you know what, Cris, you're such an amazing speaker. You're a life coach.
Yes.
You are my sister friend.
Yes.
You are an inspiration to me. I think there's a fierceness and a boldness about you. And every time we're together, I get to hear some of your life stories, some of the chapters in your life. And I just
Yes.
like, Cris, really? No,
Yes.
Cris. I mean, you are such an example of what it is to rise again and to rebuild yourself. And so that's why I want to give you a series of questions.
Sure.
I call these my pearls of wisdom, because I think everybody has a book inside of them. Everybody has some wisdom. And as you said earlier, they usually come out of our pain. They come out
Yeah.
of our shame. They're birthed out of, pearls are enclosed in a shell, and you have to pry it open. And so as I open up my guests and my clients, I gain so much because I'm learning from their pain and their tears and their missteps, so that we don't have to repeat those things, so that we don't have to live in our shame. We can, as you said, live an authentic life. And I tell you, Cris, every time I open up in my webinars, women say, I can't believe how transparent you are. And sometimes I'll say, I can't believe it either. But my first question is, as a mother, what would be your pearls of wisdom? You have two awesome sons, they're twins. What is a pearl of wisdom you would give to mothers?
Never forget about yourself. Never stop loving yourself. I gave myself away to my sons because I saw my mom do it to me. It was six of us. And I saw my mom give pieces of herself away and she never had anything left for herself. And so therefore, I used to want to wear her high heels and her pearls and play with her, but she never had time because she was working and she was caring for us. And she never kind of wore makeup or fixed herself up or did a lot of things. She always looked nice, but it was everything went to us. And she gave pieces of her heart away. And then when she ended up in the end, there was nothing left for her. And my wisdom would be, save some for yourself, Mom. It's okay.
I love that. I love that. I saw that too. And you look at your mother's pictures, and you look at your grandmother's pictures, you look at your auntie's pictures, and there's such a sadness. Yeah. You see an emptiness. You see a void. And I feel so grateful, Cris, that you and I are born in a time where we could open up and we could explore and we can love ourselves, and we can find happiness and we could find joy and give joy. I want my children and my grandson to look at pictures of me and say, wow, she looks so happy. And it's not that I don't have issues like everybody else, but I want them to see that there were aspects of my life where there was happiness and fulfillment. And I want to give that to them. My next question, Cris, as a leader, because you are a leader of your 501c3, but also in your other life in the industry where you were, I believe you were supervisor, manager.
Yes.
Okay.
The manufacturer.
You used to tell me a lot of stories about that. Tell me, as a leader, what is a pearl of wisdom for other leaders to gain from you?
Treat people the way you want to be treated. And then sometimes we don't even know how we want to be treated. So we treat people according to what's coming out of us. What's oozing out of us is sometimes how we treat people. The one thing that made me successful as a manager for manufacturing, and some people say, I can't believe you worked in a manufacturing plant. I worked in a Fortune 500 manufacturing plant over 30 something years between two companies. And what I learned was, when I became a manager, what made me so successful, and they said, well, why are your people so responsive and they do what you say? Because I treat them the way that I would want to be treated. And in my life, later in life, becoming a manager, I was able to give them what I had given myself. I was able to give them self-esteem. I was able to encourage them. I was able to push them forward. And they didn't even realize at some point maybe that they were doing it because they ended up liking the way that they were being treated. And so it made them to respond better. But I had to get there. Yes. And so I would say to anybody as a leader, wherever you are in corporate America or just wherever you are in your home or whatever, you have to first take on yourself, and you have to first prepare yourself to be that leader. Self-leadership is the number one leadership of all time. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. So I always say, don't let your gifts take you where your character can't keep you. You have to work on your character. You have to know your triggers. You have to know those things that set you off or set you back or that push you forward. And that's knowing yourself. And that's loving yourself enough to take the time to know. I have a leadership retreat, Jewel, and I ask the leaders, what's your favorite color? And they don't know. what are 3 things you like about yourself? But they're quick to know what's the 3 things they don't like about themselves.
Mhm.
And so you have to have a balance there. Leadership is a balance, and you cannot operate out of emotions as a leader. You have to be in a place to where no matter what is coming your way or what the situation is, that you can adapt, adjust, and repeat.
Mhm. I love
That
that.
would be what I would say.
Now, also, Cris, you were a female leader in a male-dominated industry.
Absolutely, yes.
So, what would be a lesson you learned as a female leader in a male-dominated industry? What were some of the challenges you had to overcome, or what can you give me a scenario where you had to be assertive, you had to step fully in your position and assert yourself and not be swayed by or be intimidated?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jewel. Being men in my era, in what I worked in, did not sometimes appreciate having a female in that role because they felt we were weak, or we wouldn't hold our own, or we wouldn't do our part, or we weren't able of commanding authority the way that they could. And so therefore, there were times when they would try just testing the waters to see
Mhm.
what I was made of. And so I will be quite honest with you. There were times when we would be in meetings and I'd be the only female in there sometimes because that's the way it was. And they would talk that shop talk and do all that sometimes even vulgar talking amongst men, you know how they talk, and I'm sitting there, nobody's saying, oh, Cris is here, be quiet. And I spoke up, I said, excuse me, one moment, please. If you're going to talk like this, I'll excuse myself and come back when you're done, because I'm not going to sit in here in the middle of all this talk. Are we going to talk business or not? And first it was like, who do you think you are? And they were mad for me. But then the next couple of meetings, oh, y'all be careful, Cris is here, watch your mouth. And so just standing my ground, not being too overbearing, but being authentic, letting them know that, you know, I can do what you do, and I can do it to the ability that you can do it, and maybe even sometimes better, because if you can do it better, that's always a problem too. And so I'll give you one example. There was a time, and this is using a feminine wiles to kind of tame the savage beast, if you will. And this is why women were so powerful. We have so much. I had guys, they didn't want to, my skilled trade guys, they work on the machines, and they didn't want to, they were taking a long time. And I needed this done. They were breathing down my back. We got to get going, because if you ever work in manufacturing, it's all about production. It's all about how fast you can go, how fast you can get it done. And the guys were dragging their feet. And as long as they're working, you got the union, the fight, those kinds of things. So I said, well, guys, I said, if we can get this done by 7, I think I'm going to order pizza, and we can have lunch and get everything done. If we can get it by 7, I'll order pizza for everybody, or sandwiches. You feed a man, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in that case, I fed them. And ever since I did that, Cris, what do you need? What do you want? And so I used a little bit of the little know-how we have as women to kind of work my way through, but at the same time, carrying my weight, and at the same time, being wise in when to move, when to twist, when to hold, when to fold.
And you just use some psychology, and that works.
Absolutely.
You know, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Cris, you were previously married.
Yes.
And you're now single again.
Yes.
What lesson, what pearl of wisdom can you share with women that have been through that experience, and maybe they're like, when will I ever be in a relationship again? Or what lesson did you learn from that marriage that you're going to carry into your next relationship?
Well, the
What's
first
marriage?
Thing, I would say have a relationship with yourself first.
Okay, we're going right back to that again.
Have a relationship with yourself first. Half a man, half a woman is half a marriage. And so when 2 halves become together, they don't always become whole. They stay halves. And I would say what I've been doing, and I've been divorced probably 18, 19 years. And I have been in a relationship with Cris progressively building that relationship with myself. And don't get me wrong, ladies, I have men that come and they think they can crack the wall and come in, but I already know what I want. I already know. I already know what I tolerate, what I don't. And the worst thing you can do, and Jewel, you said this has been my favorite saying, desperation is a terrible
perfume
to wear. And so many women are wearing that perfume of desperation, and men can smell it a mile away.
Yes, they can.
I am not a desperate woman. So therefore, when they come, and they do come, they quickly either leave or they reassess, because when you have had relationship with yourself and you know what you want and you know your worth, and because your self-worth is not your net worth, and you have to understand that that is going to be the next thing that you need to develop in any relationship is your self-worth. And if you're already on the down slope on that going in, it's not going to get any better. And so I would say the pearls of wisdom I would give would be have a relationship with yourself. Date yourself, as people say.
Cris, do you see in your peer group, do you see in the women that you interact with or the women you coach, do you see a lot of desperation? Do you see a lot of loneliness? Do you see a lot of women accepting low-hanging fruit? Do you see a lot of women that are wearing the perfume called desperation?
Every day, Jewel, sad to say, every day. I have women who feel that all their problems would go away if they had a date, a mate, a man, or a husband. They feel that they're tired of being lonely. They're tired of I want to say this about low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit is easy to pick, but it doesn't always taste good, because sometimes it's the fruit that is the ripest, but it rottens real fast. And sometimes it's the fruit that's up high on the tree that is the freshest and the best. And I just say to women, sometimes you give yourself away too easily. You give yourself away to the first person that comes by and pick from the tree. Make him climb that tree to get to you. Make him understand what you want in life. See, you're the prize. You're the prize. You have to keep that in mind. You're the prize. This is what makes a woman attractive. Let me say this. This is what makes a man attractive to me now that I'm where I'm at now. Takes care of himself. If he's health conscious, if he is smart with his money. I'm not saying he has to have a certain amount, but what do you do with what you have? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat your friends? How do you treat your mother? How do you treat sisters and coworkers? Are you a drama king? Because they're drama queens, but there's some kings out there too. You have to have just to get in the door. You got to have some kind of steps that you need to see before you even allow someone in. Because what we do, women, is we get in emotionally too fast, and we get involved emotionally, and we become intimate too fast, and we get all tangled up in that, and we call that love, where a man is not saying that's love at all. That's just me doing what I do. And so when we're left and we feel like we've been betrayed, or we've betrayed ourselves. And I always say, don't be so loyal to someone else that you betray your own trust. And so we have to have, I take with me confidence of who I am, not arrogance, and not being acting like I'm so suchy much. But I take confidence, and it is who I am. And Jewel, and I have to say this, I'm prepared that if I have to finish out this life alone without a mate, I'm okay with that. Because guess what? I like me. I love me. Would I rather have someone? Absolutely. I would love to have
sure.
And have someone. But if it means that it's not what I want or what I need or what I have laid out for my life, then I'm willing to say, okay, I'm good with you, Cris. I'm good.
I love that. And I'm good with you too, Cris. I love you so much. And I think that you're helping somebody today. Somebody's like, oh, I don't want to hear this. That's okay. And there's some like, you know what? I never thought of it that way.
Yes.
I think there's a reality that women and men need to address, that you may never be married again, or you you may repeat some same mistakes because you didn't learn from the last one. I think that this is why these interviews are so important, for people to see different sides, different perspectives, different mindsets, and grow from it. Somebody may be hearing this today and it may not even kick in until next year, but at least they've heard it. They've got to think about it. They've got to measure. They've got to assess, as you said, where am I? What do I want? What am I willing to put up with? And do I understand the difference between liking someone, lusting someone, and loving someone? Have I seen this person in different scenarios? Have I seen this person when they're under stress? Have I seen this person, how they treat people in the restaurant? Have I seen how they talk on the phone to their mom or their ex-wife? Have I, because at a certain mature level, you have to realize he's coming with a family history as well as yourself. So are you saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter? To me, it matters how they talk to their ex, how they talk to their mom, how they talk about their children. How, have you seen this person, you just because, I think it was Malcolm X or someone said, just because you put shoes in the oven that don't make a biscuits. So have you seen this person, if you go to church and they go to church with you, what do you see? What do you experience? What is their worship experience like? Is it fake, or is it, are they just showing you, showing up to impress you? Have you seen this person, on their job? Have you seen this person dealing with their finances? Have you seen this person dealing with their health issues? How do they respond to stress? Because stress will break or make a relationship. And if you're only just dating for the fun, the roses, to go to the movies, dinner, that is playing it safe. That is not real life. Real life is what do you do? How do you deal with getting a bad diagnosis, or how do you deal with losing your job, or even losing a loved one? I know of a couple right now. They were so happy. Oh my God, they were just always dating, always going places. And then I heard that the guy lost one of his adult children, and he's gone into a deep slump. And she's like, everything has changed. I don't know when we're going to get married. And I'm thinking to myself, well, now you have had a insight as to how this person is emotionally equipped. Everybody is not emotionally equipped to deal with loss or layoff or a setback with their finances. Everybody's, even a flat tire. Does this person just go off? That's right. The deep end, or are they calm? Do they react, or do they respond? I think all those things are important to look at. And I wish I had been told these things myself as a young woman, but that is my last question to you, Cris, is what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell her? How would you prepare her for adult life? What is something that you wish you had known as a younger girl?
Well, I would tell the younger Cris, stop, look, and listen. You're better than that. But knowing the things that I've been through and what I had to hit my head to learn something, I would say you're better than that. And stop, look, and listen, and just stopping to observe, like you just said, to observe some things, and looking and watching and listening. That is profound wisdom gained just for those three actions right there. And I would tell myself, Cris, you're better than that. You are the diamonds in the back room. You're the diamond that they have to go get when they come in and say, well, give me the best that you have. Well, that's in the back. It's not displayed in the case. That's who you are, Cris. I didn't have anybody to tell me that. I had my mom tell me old sayings, because that's all she knew, old fashioned sayings, you can do bad all by yourself and that kind of stuff. And I didn't know what does that mean? I do now. But now
Yes.
I can tell Cris, I can say, Cris, um, prepare yourself for what you want. Find out first, what do you want? Don't move until you know what you want, until you know what that looks like. And if you don't know what that looks like, Cris, create it, because you have the power. You have the power to rise above every circumstance and situation, and don't make yourself become that circumstance or situation. You rise above it and stand on it and not in it, and use it as a platform to get to the next level, because you can use everything. See, Jewel, there was a time when I was trying to be a divorced mother. I was like, okay, I'm divorced. When people say, well, who are you? Well, I'm divorced. I'm a single mother. I was naming all the things that had happened to me, but that was not who I was. And I was trying to become those things because I thought that's what you do. And then I realized my prayer to God one day was, Lord, there has to be something better than this. Has to be. And I just could pray that every day, Lord, there has to. And then I said, show me what is better than this. And when I started to, like you say, pray with your feet, I started to move in the direction that I wanted to go. Because sometimes I was staying stagnant for years, just praying, Lord, help me, Lord, help me, Lord, help me. And Lord was like, I'm helping, but you're not doing anything. And so
Hey,
I
Cris, I remember, Cris, if you could share this story real briefly. I remember when you were going through the divorce and you said, you were just a hot mess, and you realized you need help after you had gone through a red light.
yeah,
You weren't even in the present.
no,
And you said, nobody in your family said, what's with your makeup? Your makeup was all over your face.
all over my face. Lipstick was clown lipstick,
Uh-huh.
eyes, the makeup was too light, everything. It was a mess, and nobody could speak to it because I think they were afraid, number one. And then number two, I don't think they knew what to say.
Yeah.
And Jewel, I have to say, because I want to speak to mental illness at this point, because I dealt with mental illness. Some people don't like that term, but emotional, mental illness, whatever you can stand to say, I can say
Mhm.
mental illness, and that I became homicidal because the anger. This is what happens when you don't find a outlet for your soul. As Jewel said earlier, it presses down and then it comes out somewhere. Some people, it comes out in drinking and drugs and sex and cussing and different things. Mine came out in intense anger to kill. Not that I killed anybody or anything, but it was the anger had built up for not being authentic to myself, for not speaking my mind, for saying no sometimes when I should have said no, but said yes because somebody asked me. But in my marriage, I had gotten to the place I could space myself out. And I knew if I did that, I didn't have any emotions. And so I was driving one day with my children in the car, and I was just spaced out, and I'm driving and people were stopped. And I'm like, why are they stopping these old stupid people? What are they stopping for? And I'm weaving through the traffic and I go straight through the red light. God was so amazing because the light had changed, but nothing was coming the opposite direction that could have hit me broadside, maybe killed me and my kids. And so when I got through the light halfway, I came to myself.
Mm.
I came to myself and I said, oh my God, I just ran through a red light with my children in the car. And thank you, God, nothing happened. And I went to the doctor myself and I said, he said, do you feel like you want to hurt yourself? Or do you feel like that? I said, no. I mean, I was confident. No. He said, do you feel like that you want to take meds or kill yourself? I said, no. He says, well, what? I said, I feel like I could kill somebody. I'm that angry and I know who that person is. And he said, well, we're going to have to put you in evaluation because I can't let you go home with that mindset. And Jewel, right then and there, they took me straight to the stress center.
Mm-hmm.
And no warning, and I was kicking and screaming. I got to get my kids. I got to go do this. I made all kind of excuses. And so I called my mom and dad. I said, hey, this is what they've done. And nothing's wrong with me. And I just kept denying it because it was shameful. I thought, here I am, a powerful woman, and I'm strong. And then now here I am. But what happened, I thought I was going to be in there. He said, we're going to do a 24-hour evaluation. I ended up standing there 6 days. 6 days. And I didn't realize that until I admitted that I had issues, that I was never going to get out.
Yeah.
And what happens to us in our lives until we admit we've been hurt, we've been wounded,
That's right.
uh, we're angry, we're sad, you're never going to be free. You're never going to get out of that space that you occupy until you do the work. And so I started to do the work. And the hardest thing to do was to admit that I am homicidal and I have
And you weren't
emotional
suicidal like a lot
or
of women
suicide. Yeah,
sometimes become. They want to hurt themselves.
yeah,
But
or suicidal.
you,
Yeah,
it was more external. I want to hurt somebody.
yeah, I want
And
to hurt
I
somebody.
think
I've
that
been
is
hurt.
so,
And when you say hurt people, that was it.
yeah,
I had been hurt, so I wanted to hurt the person that hurt me. And
yes.
then anybody else that got in the way.
Mhm.
And so I never did. Thank you, God, that nothing ever happened. But at that moment, I didn't realize I could be capable. There is a thin line there. I could be capable of doing that. And I had put visions in my mind of how it could be done.
Mhm.
And if I acted on that today, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. And so I'm just so thankful to God that I was able um, to pray my way out and do the work to get it done. And now I come back to help those other women who
Yes.
need to get out.
It's a great story of salvation and healing. It's a
Yes,
great story of revelation when you begin to realize we all have a dark side. We all
yes,
have a shadow side. And
yes,
when somebody can pierce you that deep with pain and we don't know how to regulate our emotions and we don't have that support system. And I believe it wasn't long after that was when I met you, when I got invited to speak at Light of the World
yes,
Church. And
yes,
you were the women's ministry leader.
yes. And I was so, Bishop Benjamin said that he wanted me to do it. In the middle of going through, God gave me a vision.
Uh-huh.
And I love to journal. So I was journaling one day and God gave me this vision of a women's group. And I held it for the longest, and the Lord just tussled with me about, you need to share this with the pastor. And so I said, oh my goodness, I don't know what this is going to do. I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to share it with you. And I
Mm.
just said, Bishop, I want you to know I've been going through, but this is what God gave me. And I feel like this is something one day it may happen. So and then Bishop Benjamin. So Bishop Tom Benjamin, you take something to him and he is going to allow
Run
you
with it.
to work with it. And so when I gave it to him, I typed it all out because I know how he likes everything typed in decent and in order. And he looked at the title. It was called Sister to Sister at that time. He laid his hand on it. He said, this is your ministry. He said, this is going to take you further than you know. He says, I want you to start this in the church now. I said, Bishop, I can't because I'm not worthy, because I'm going through a divorce. My life is not good. He said, who better would know
That's right.
what is needed than someone that is going through?
And he
And so with
released
that,
you. He released you to do that.
he
That's a
when he did that,
yes.
oh my goodness, Jewel, when he
Yes.
did that, I was 11 years, I did that for 11 years. And then God had me to step out on my own and start Harvest Girls.
Right.
But that release that he gave me was the thing that shifted and changed my life, because sitting still did nothing for me. It was when I started moving with my feet. And when you start to give back, something inside of you shifts and
Yes, it
changes
does.
and molds and shapes you. That's why I say sitting in your anger, sitting in your circumstance is not good for you. You have to do something. And when people ask me, Cris, what can I do? Start serving. Serve
That's right.
somewhere. Find a
Serve
hospital.
somewhere.
Yes, find someone to serve. Find some place. You don't have to be church unless that's what you want, but there are other places that you can serve. And when you start to serve, something inside of you that's greater than yourself emerges. And it causes you to find passion. And in that passion, you find purpose. And then who knows where else that can take you.
Yes. It's so true, honey. And I just love you so much. And I just so glad that God lined us up for such a
Yeah,
time as this, all these many
yeah,
years, to come to Light of the World a couple of times, to come and speak for Harvest Girls, and you come and speak for my ministry,
yeah.
Women on the Grow. It has definitely been a joy. And I know that you've got a lot of things on your plate. I know that you are caregiving for your mom.
Yes.
And I appreciate you taking the time to say yes to have an
Oh,
interview with
yeah.
me. I love how you reflected on the concept about the diamonds, because I teach that all the time since my father was a jeweler, and I learned from watching in his store that all the junk jewelry, all the cheap jewelry was sitting out in the front and anybody could pick it up. And I noticed that he locked away the diamonds and he locked away the watches. And I thought to myself, Jewel, that's how you have to see yourself. You can't let everybody just pick you up and touch you and hold you and be available to everybody. You have to know your worth. And if people say, I can't afford you, okay, God bless you.
God bless you.
I had to learn my worth as a speaker. I had to learn my worth as a wife. I had to learn my worth as the founder of Women on the Grow. I had to learn my worth as a mother. You know, you can't talk to me a certain way. I had to learn my worth as a sister friend, that if you don't understand that I could be the best friend to you,
yes,
and if you don't see that and you want to be critical or you want to be jealous or you want to, be a drama queen, bye Felicia, because I know I can be a good friend. That is something I know. And so this journey of self-worth and self-esteem is an amazing, amazing ministry and outreach to women. And for us to be living in a time where we are seeing someone who looks like us as vice president of the United States. For our young girls to know that the glass ceiling has been cracked, and watch where you step in, because there's glass all on the floor.
All on the floor, because the ceiling is been broken.
You know what I mean? So the sky is the limit.
Yes.
The sky is the limit, and we want to teach girls and women, our children, to dream big and to know that no, it will not be an easy road, but when God has called you, he's going to provide and he's going to guide. Yes. So please give my audience your contact information if they'd like to reach out to you to learn about your speaking and your coaching and your programs with Harvest Girls. Can you please give us your contact information, Cris? Yes, it's
harvestgirls.com. If you go there, everything is there on that page. If you want to find me on social media, Cris Meadows, Cris Meadows. And then also you can share our page on Harvest Girls International on Facebook. And we're on all platforms of social media.
Good. This has been so great, honey. Thank you so much for
I have my bracelet on.
Yo, wonderful.
Isn't it gorgeous? I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad you love it.
Yes.
You are a woman on the grow.
On the grow, yes.
And I see you. Be blessed, honey.
All right.
Be encouraged and stay in the light.
All right. Bye-bye.